Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in today's video, we're going to go over AS Toova with her manifest leveled up, and I'll do a little bit of gameplay and let you know what I think about her. But the most important question of all is
she hot or not?
Yeah, she's hot. However, if I make a move on her, maybe her skeleton's going to bully me. So now that AS Toova has her manifest, she is very versatile in the fact that she can do some debuffs as well as help support your magic team among doing decent earth DPS on her own. She is still very slow, so keep that in mind, among the slowest mages in the game. Her VC is not bad, water type resist of all party members plus 40% for 2 turns, so when you VC her in, pretty defensive, almost like a mini Aurora Force, and against some water super bosses, that will ensure either victory or help you protect yourself from getting extremely hurt. Now you can see the 3 moves we're going with: Dark Deal, Spiritual Utterance, and Requiem Bouquet. She does have other moves that you can put instead of Dark Deal. However, Dark Deal works best, especially if you're up against bosses or doing some significant damage. Self-damage 30%, int 70%. So actually very similar to Blood Cruelty, except that in the upgraded version, Deidre doesn't hurt herself. However, you do want to hurt AS Toova because that will come into play later on with the Requiem Bouquet. All of Toova's moves are based on int, and so that will really power up her 2 moves here. So the first of the AS moves is the Spiritual Utterance. Power and int down on a single enemy. It is 100% guaranteed, however, unfortunately it isn't an AoE, so you will have to target more than once if you have more than one boss or fighter to go against. Also, increase her own staff damage by 30% and stack 3 lanterns on her, and they provide earth/attacks at the end of turn. So that powers AF bars in zone for both earth zone as well as slash zone. However, even with 3 hits, it only powers the bar once, so keep that in mind. And remember, like I said before, it does play off her intelligence, so guarantee crit slashes too, by the way. Requiem Bouquet is her spam move. It is an earth magic single target XL, and with manifest, increased speed of her 3 turns stackable, so obviously that will work really well, being that she is really slow without that boost. Also, increased damage when HP under 70%. So remember that Dark Deal does 30%, so in this case, I'm not sure if 1 Dark Deal is enough to unlock this ability, although I imagine that that is exactly the case. And again, you do an extra attack with the Underworld Lantern. So you'll set up with Dark Deal, or Spiritual Utterance first, then Dark Deal, then Requiem Bouquet. Now, I used to use Double Crush as well before Manifest because outside zone you get 2 hits that way. However, obviously within zone and Manifest you don't need that anymore. And this is her 5-star board. Keep in mind that if you do have OG Toova, it does give a boost to AS Toova. Spirit plus 10, not very much. However, hey, still a small boost nonetheless. In terms of her Grasta setup, you can actually really tailor this. I didn't really play around with this, although later on in the video, I do equip additional Grasta for additional damage to kind of showcase what she can do. So, let's take her out for a spin. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that because of her high int, the Rock Spread, which is one of her 4-star moves, even at this point can do a significant amount of damage and can clear most lower level mobs. It is also very cheap on mana, so if you are wandering around extended dungeons or even running keys, the Rock Spread should be enough damage, especially if you really gear up her badges with int and so on and so forth. Now, against most horrors, she can really handle herself. And so we're going to show what we're going to do with the setup. So we're going to do Spiritual Utterance first, int and power down. Keep in mind that the slashes are going to do 3 auto crits there. And she's outside zone. Obviously, it's just, 1 extra little bit of power. However, look at that. Once we did the extra Dark Deal, look how much damage those slashes do. And that's just by herself. And then finally just finish off with Requiem Bouquet. So she doesn't really have a heal function, whereas her OG form, which has that Call of the Dark, which kind of life sucks. So that's one downside to AS Toova. However, she's usually on a mage team with lots of healers, and so we really don't have any problems with that. Now, in terms of fighting super bosses, I'm going to have two demonstrations here. In this first one, she's more of a utility in terms of debuffing and helping the boss survive, because really she's not... she does decent amount of damage, but I wouldn't consider her extremely overpowered. However, she allows you to really survive some of these super boss attacks, being that int and power 25 down is very, very useful. And obviously, in conjunction with some of the other shielding, you got type shields, you got physical resist from some of your other mages, as well as eventually establishing zone by magic zone, then you really have some protection against your team so you don't die. So you can see that normally without debuffs, those two slashes can each one can end one character. In this case, both landed on Garyu, but with the shields, zone, as well as the int and power debuff, we were able to survive that double slash. And so we're just going to end it right here. Unfortunately, Toova wasn't able to do a lot of damage. She was just rotated out to establish magic zone. So we're not demonstrating her DPS here. Although, like I said, in the second part of this video, we will have her showcased in terms of the amount of damage she can do. And I will say she actually does significant amount of damage without much setup at all, being that all those setup moves are essentially going to be used regardless. You're going to definitely use the spiritual utterance and so on and so forth. So of course you've seen the magic zone in action. Obviously AS Rosetta is the key to really bringing out the full effect of AS Toova, as well as other mages, mind you. If you haven't checked out my 5-star review of AS Rosetta, make sure you do so. In terms of running mages versus running, like, for example, a basic earth team, one of the things I will say is that because a lot of earth team, especially earth slash, they have the benefit of multiple debuffs. So you have type resist down, for example, earth resist down, you have physical resist down. And we don't have a magic resist down in the game yet, although I really do hope that they do allow kind of a magical resistance debuff so that your magic teams can do as much damage as some of the slash and physical type teams. Because I do find that physical teams do more damage than magic teams, although magic teams do have a lot more versatility, being that most of the time you have one or two healers and multiple elemental shields that physical teams generally do not have. That being said, AS Toova is still our only mage that can do dual debuff at one time. Even Yuna, I believe, has to do 2 moves to do the 2 different debuffs. Okay, so against our nemesis here, the water type boss, we can really utilize the debuffs as well as her slashes and so on and so forth. So obviously we're establishing zone right off the bat. We have magic zone here. We've debuffed the minion first. And note that they did do 3 slashes. However, we are in magic zone currently, and so those slashes do not boost the AF bar at all. That being said, still adds damage to help kill off that minion, because if you fought the true spirits, you'll know that those minions can do significant amounts of damage, and they also establish zone, and they also boost the boss as well. Now, in terms of having Clark here, Clark's main use here is that obviously he participates in magic zone. His element other than crystal is also earth, and his earth move actually increases earth attacks for your whole team, stackable up to 4 times, so 20, 10, 10, 10. I know I haven't done a review on Clark because I'm really waiting for AS Clark to come out. However, he still has some function in an earth team, although he's not nearly as powerful as some gacha units. That being said, you can see he still is helping support, and note that we have the full bar here. We're going to bar it right here and get right directly into the second phase. Now, if you're wondering about my style, and I'm sure some of you are wondering, how come you don't 2-turn, 3-turn, 4-turn kill all these bosses like I've seen other videos do? And I will say, maybe my skill level isn't that high, but one of the reasons I actually don't do that is that I'm more of a kind of a patient gamer, in the fact that I'm more of methodical. I like to guarantee the win. I kind of just wear the boss down, and my style kind of reflects that. Anyways, back to AS Toova, you can see that her hits are actually in the millions. So when you spam on AF, 2 hits are multi-millions each, and actually that's pretty significant. If you compare to even AS Myrus, obviously when you use AS Myrus with reduced MP, kind of game the system, and then use Transform Claw after 3 stacks, then you will get some significant damage out of AS Myrus. However, just alone, in terms of the hits from Requiem Bouquet, pretty significant. Now we did use the Transform Claw outside zone, and we just did a bunch of damage, killed off the minions in one fell swoop. And now we have Earth Zone active. And note that when you saw the slash hit in Earth Zone, note that we did get a boost in the bar there. And keep in mind that Earth Zone does boost the damage of those slashes. So she can play pretty well in both Earth and Magic Zone. But like I said, in an Earth Zone, I do feel that physical attackers are much better than mages. With a few exceptions. Obviously, AS Myris does a ton of damage and increases speed for your whole team regardless. Okay, we got Magic Zone back in the game. And we are surviving easily the second hit. The third one is an AoE that reduces you to, I think, 1% HP. It won't kill you. And we're just going to get a half bar here and see what we do. There you go. No problems there. And we have multiple healers. Clark can heal. Myris can heal. Rosetta could heal if you put in that move Codex. And we don't have that. We have scales of, I guess, Themis? I know I'm mispronouncing that again. Okay, we're going to spam a bunch of moves here. So watch the Earth Spiral. 3 hits is about 2 million. Oh, okay, 1 million each. Look at that. 2 million each for AS Toova. Continue on here. 2.8 times 2. Very, very comparable damage. 3.2 million times 2. She is doing a lot of damage. And keep in mind, she also has those slashes at the end of turn 2. Boom. Crit. 800,000 each against those weak enemies, and just randomly attacks, mind you. But still, 2 hits killed a minion. That was awesome. Now, all we have to do is reestablish the Earth Zone, and then reestablish Magic Zone again, and we can end the game. And so, this video also kind of demonstrates having 2 zones that really does help with your team setup, in that you can really help protect your team by setting up 2 zones. You can switch to zones where it benefits both elements. So for example, we have a Magic Zone which benefits our mages. We also have Earth Zone, and keep in mind that all 3 of our primary mages are Earth based as well. And so, you know, regardless of which zone we're in, we have some benefits either way. At this point, we're just going to re-establish zone, and nice little VC there by Myris. Hits, powers up the bar because we were in Earth Zone. And with all our shielding, no problems there. We only took, 1,500 or less. 1 round of hits. We will survive turn 3 because we'll be left at 1% HP. And then we're going to slaughter the boss and end it right there and then. That being said, I know, like I said, longer video in the sense it's not a 1-minute kill. It's more of a 5-minute kill for this true spirit. But, like I said, slow and methodical, very reproducible. I would also say in terms of having this kind of approach, you can actually do it with lesser Grasta. It just takes you a few more rotations. And so that's another thing I kind of like doing, instead of saying, okay, we need specifically these Grasta all enhanced. Everyone's going to carry this and kind of power up this and this and that. Those are advanced tactics that I think are very, very useful as well. However, I'm kind of showing the kind of the middle ground where you have to modify things a little bit, but not too much. And again, multi-millions with AS Toova, so pretty good DPS. We have that debuff that helps protect us, and we ended the boss, no problem at all. And in this example, you can see clearly she can do comparable damage to AS Myris, just from a single target standpoint. Okay. Clark obviously doesn't have any Grasta. We just brought him in, honestly, on a whim. A lot of times when I film these videos, I just kind of think up random ideas and present them to you in the hopes of sharing some, insight, and hopefully sharing some interesting facts as well. Meryl is mainly in this fight, both as a backup, just in case we need that type shield VC healing, but mainly she's really, really fast and can establish zone for us within the first or second turn. So in conclusion, AS Toova, as part of the banner for AS Miyu, is still a pretty decent unit, especially now with Manifest. I think she shines best in Magic Zone. However, she is versatile on an Earth team. She can help dual debuff. She still has slashes at the end of turn, so you can play an Earth slash team. Not too bad at all. And let's be honest, the wedding dress does add a little bit of flair to her style as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.